Okay, so sex. The guys said sex to them is a bowel movement. It's like a bowel movement.
Yeah.
That was the first time I heard it. Y'all heard it, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
That was the first time I heard it. When it first came out, they said that. I was a little uncomfortable because sex is like shit. Is that what you're saying? But the more they talked about it and the more they explained it, the more I got it. It took me a minute. Took a long minute. But so in essence what they're saying is it don't mean that much to them. So when women use sex to get them to do something or withhold sex because they mad at them, it don't mean that much to them. It's a bodily function. It's something I gotta do. I'm gonna do it, but it ain't like I go spend all my day thinking about a bowel movement. So I don't spend all my day thinking about sex. They also said that they don't put a lot of emotional attachment to sex the way we do. No more than they put a lot of emotional attachment to the fact that they're taking a dump. It's just something that's necessary, something that they have to do. Sometimes they need to do it, like a bowel movement. But it ain't something that controls anything about their life. Right. So my question is am I the only woman that thought that was trained or told somebody by some old lady, if you want to get a man to do what you need to do, you need to go swing from that chandelier and go do some things? Am I the only one that thought that you can get a man to do whatever you need him to do if you get sex?
No. I think it probably depend on the man, maybe.
But the question is, have y'all been told that or taught that? No.
I wasn't taught.
You wasn't taught that?
I was not.
I was. Might be a country thing. Anybody else was taught it? How many people were not taught it? You say you were not.
I was not taught.
We're not taught it, but I've heard it.
Okay.
I wasn't taught it, but I know it.
I've heard it. And
So how many people have done it?
Everybody.
You never done it?
No.
You never used sex to get a man?
Swing on the chandelier?
No. Use sex to get a man. Let's say you want to get something. You want to buy a new car. You want to get him something to do, and he done talked about it. You don't turn on that romance. The kind when you
Guys,
that pillow talk.
You gonna put yourself out there, what if you still don't buy you that car?
Well,
What's your man?
It's your guy, not your man.
But your man still might not buy your car, but you still might not have the money to buy your car.
So how many women have actually done it? Have not? He cranky and he get on my nerves or whatever. Let me just go in there and knock him off so you can leave him alone. How many women have done that?
Not everybody. Not everybody.
Okay.
Because sometimes, if you, I can't speak for y'all, but he gonna feel better.
Right.
He's gonna have a much better day. He's gonna have a much better night, and it becomes, whether he says it's emotional or not, it's like having a glass of Hennessy.
Right.
Neat. I'm his glass of Hennessy.
Okay, so that's going in there to make him better. But how many have used sex to get him to do something that we want him to do that we know he don't want to do?
Oh, not to get you to do something you don't want to do it anyway. Because
but how many?
I haven't had to, but I guess
I call it extra pillow talk.
I guess if at the end of the day, if he thought that I was going to say no, which I'm not going to say no.
You know those conversations, those pillow talk and sex talk get men to be more cooperative. And be like, oh, life is great. Well, maybe that new car that she wants to get, maybe that ain't so far reach. I've done it, and it worked.
Would you get? Well, maybe I should try it.
I'm going to get it anyway, but it's better
when it comes to a car.
Okay, so on the subject of sex, if men think sex is like a bowel movement, what do women equate sex with? What does sex mean to y'all? What is it? Is it emotional?
Definitely
It needs to be scratched. There's no emotion for me. So.
Well, yeah, my thing, and it's not sex to me. It's like just being intimate, making love with your partner, and it just brings y'all closer together, making that bond, so y'all can connect.
Want that connection thing,
that connection. It's not. I'm not going to be having sex with you, just be having sex with you. Now, some men they do what they want to just have like wild sex. you know, and stuff like that. But me, I'm just, I don't know, cause I'm not the freaky
Cause
chick.
you're not feeling it. If you're not feeling it, you're not gonna do it.
I'm just not freaky. I want to be freaky, but I'm just not freaky.
Madam, we have Miss Tammy over here. She can break you out with
Or
that.
you may be freaky is different for different people.
Okay, well,
different
what's
people use
freaky?
it, and they might think.
Well, I'm just told that I'm not freaky enough. So, you know, my partner like to be freaky. I'm just not freaky. So we'll talk about this.
What's
afterwards.
freaky?
Tammy!
You know what's funny is most guys aren't mated with the girl who is sexually his equal. Most guys end up, there's something else that they draw. Because I've got tons of friends and we have these conversations all the time and they're like, well, how come you can do blah, blah, blah and blah, blah, blah? Girl, cause, listen. But most of my friend girls, they're like, when I tell them what I'm willing to do, clutch my pearls. Don't clutch your pearls.
But they have
baby.
husbands.
Yeah, I'm like, don't clutch your pearls. You got to choke yourself.
So,
And so, I mean, you just have to be able to, in my opinion, when it comes to that, if you want him to do what you want him to do because of sex, you got to come more with than just some missionary stuff, because he ain't going to do nothing different, because he can get what you just did from anybody. Anybody will lay down and or flip.
Tammy,
Yeah,
what's
so
what is your definition? I mean, we're on social media. People are gonna hear it. I'm not asking for anybody's bedroom secrets.
Mm-hmm.
So, but generally, what do you see freaky as?
From my experience in doing what I do for a living now, freaky for some people can be something simple like using a toy, because they never use a toy, so that's something freaky.
Right.
But then you got the other people that likes the floggers and the gag balls and
The
the
spanking,
handcuffs and all that kind of stuff.
Tie me
They consider that's more freaky. I mean, it's some stuff out there. We got like the spreaders that will spread your legs so that you can't move them, even if you want to move them, because it's too much right now. You just stuck. You just stuck in whatever position the spreader got your legs in. And hog ties. To me, that's freaky.
Right.
That's freaky. I don't consider like a toy.
Right.
Using
Well, I want
each
a toy.
person-
I don't want to be having legs all spread.
Each person's freaky is
different levels.
Yeah.
That, but
If
from
you're
a
used
guy's
to- if-
standpoint,
Even from a
Yeah,
guy's
from a
standpoint.
guy, yeah, because I mean, like I say, the basic missionary, who wants to do that all the time, every time, year after year, you're the same person. And I'm saying that because I'm doing what I do. People talk to me
Yeah, they
about
talk all the
it.
time.
They tell me more stuff than I need to know about,
What's
their
going on in their
relationships and
bedroom.
stuff. And my thing to them is like, did you tell her that? Kind of thing. But like I say, the freaky thing just depends on the person. If you're used to just basic vanilla missionary style stuff, I mean, if that's working for you, that's fine. But
okay, so if it's working for you, yeah. But suppose it ain't working for your man.
no, that's what I meant. If it's working for, I
Right.
should have said y'all. If
It's a couple.
if both of y'all are good with doing the same thing, the same way all the time, nobody's complaining. That's
I
that's
think that
one thing, but
everyone
after-
should explore their limit and push it. You should, if your guy is willing to, because all guys aren't willing. All guys will not. I know a lot of guys that be like,
They don't want that.
Yeah,
They don't want that.
They be like, mm-mm.
They don't
Yeah.
want their wives or their main, well, I can say main girl, that means somebody.
Significant
They don't
other.
want their
Yeah.
wives or significant other
to be
to
that girl.
exhibit those things because they don't want to see her in a sexual, demeaning way. Like they may see pornos or they may see women, strippers, doing things that they enjoy to watch, but they don't want their wives to do it because they don't want to perceive them like that.
Yeah,
They
and
want
some
her
of them
to remain
they'll
pure.
keep it vanilla with the wife, but then the girlfriends and the mistresses or whoever else
Side
is
pieces.
or they're the ones that they get freaky with.
Or
Right.
they start out with a girlfriend and then by the time they get married, they're like, oh, we can't do that.
So when do you have the okay, ladies, when do we have the discussion? When and how do we have the discussion with our mate about, okay, what kind of sex do you want?
In the beginning.
Very
Right.
beginning.
And how do you say it, Sheila?
Then see, now you know the line of work I do. You just
I
come out
know,
and say
exactly.
it.
That's why I put you on the panel.
Because when you're talking to people, okay, first of all, before
Okay, you
even
speak
get-
up loud because I want them to
But
hear.
Before you even get to sex, let's talk about your STD history.
Huh.
Okay, so that's the first thing we want to do,
Praise
ladies.
the Lord.
Talk about STD history, talk about, because you know when you sleep with that person, you sleep with everybody else they sleep
Right.
with. So that's the first thing. Then we want to talk about, well, what type of sex do you like?
Right.
Because sometimes people, they haven't been, I shouldn't say trained, they just been jumping up and down.
Right.
They haven't really, they don't know what
They
it
don't
is
know.
to be intimate, truly intimate. So you need to talk about that. So that's probably why some people may say, well, so-and-so is not that freaky, because they don't even know the definition of being
Right.
freaky.
They don't.
Right.
They don't have.
So that's a conversation you just got to come out and just have.
Immediately before you
Right.
seal that relationship, you gotta have it. How many of y'all had it?
I think
I wanna
I
have.
had
Let me
it.
tell you a funny story. You said, go get all the testing.
Neibra, I apologize that I had to interrupt you, but you're gonna have to go.
Yes, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed meeting you because I know one individual here. So it was nice meeting you guys, but I am a new mom. I'm still nursing. So it's been a couple hours and
It's time to go.
okay.
Yeah.
I felt it about, well, most people, but I felt the letdown about 20 minutes ago and I was like, ooh, I feel that.
It's like time to go. So we appreciate you coming. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
all.
I'll be
you brought to the
watching. I'll be
table.
watching what you guys say, especially about this topic right here.
If you look, I'll text you if I need your input on something. I'll text you and you call in and I'll put you on the speaker. How about
But
that?
I would love to definitely go out with you guys
Perfect.
and talk because I know there's a lot of after discussions.
Oh yeah. So we'll call you when we're done and then we'll find somewhere to meet and we'll all meet up for lunch. Cool?
Yes.
All right, cool.
So,
All
thank you
right,
guys.
See you later.
Bye. See you later. Nice meeting you.
You are not into that, then he ain't satisfied. He may love you and he may be committed to you, he may never cheat on you, but he's not 100% satisfied. Now flip it. If I want to do that freaky stuff because I'm starting to get bored with the normal stuff, and he's not into it, then we got some issues. So the problem is she ain't telling him and he ain't telling her. And so we learn from the panel, but we know from real life, if that's something he enjoys doing, he gonna do it. He's just gonna do it elsewhere. If that's something she enjoy doing and she ain't getting it, she gonna do it elsewhere.
Right.
So men, don't ever think that some of us don't have the same desires as you and that we won't step out just like you don't step out. Like you're gonna step out for sexual stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you have a conversation? How do you have a conversation?
I think that the conversation, like I said, should start in the beginning, and it's the prelude to a kiss. You need to converse often before you get into the sheets. It needs to be a normal part of your conversation.
I agree.
You should not be ashamed to talk. If you plan to be sexually intimate with someone, you should not be afraid to converse with that person so you can set up your understanding. Because you do not want to end up in the bed with somebody who brings out a flogger. Hold on, sir.
We didn't talk about that.
What is that?
Yeah, what you finna
I don't
do?
even know what that is. I don't want to go. What's that movie where the girl walked into a red room and had to sign an agreement? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I don't want to walk into your red room with some whips and chains, handcuffs.
Right.
What we doing?
Oh.
Who are we doing?
So you have the conversation. What was the name of that movie?
50
Oh,
Shades.
50
yeah,
Shades of Grey.
yeah,
50 Shades of
yeah,
Grey.
yeah.
So let's talk. Let's see. This is how I would have the conversation. I would say, we haven't been intimate. Tell me the things that you like. Like what? I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna say it like I would say it. I'm just gonna say, what kind of things do you like to do in the bedroom?
Like, what's your expectation?
Like what? I mean, what things do you want? And I'll be specific. I mean, communication has to be open and honest in order for it to be effective. You gotta say, bro, do you want anal sex Do you want to tie me up? Do you want whips and chains? Do you want a dildo up your butt?
And the guys will have a conversation with you. If you open it, they're so willing to have it.
Right, they are.
And that conversation becomes real because there are guys who do want a dildo up their butt. And I'm like, well, who's going to do that for you?
Because but that's the thing. If he tells you, I want you to use a dildo on me, then you say, I'm not with that, then y'all can just split.
Well, I've had conversations where, we see something on porn, and I'll ask, can I do that? To who? To you. And I think that watching porn, like some girls are like, I'm not gonna watch porn with my guy. No, because that opens up tons of very relevant
Discussions.
Yes, and you're just like, that girl.
How many of y'all watch porn? How many of you all watch porn with your guys?
I have, but it's not a regular.
Enjoy it.
Is there anything wrong with a woman and her guy watching porn?
Not at all.
I don't know a lot about porn. So my thing is, when I get with a particular person, that person always watch porn. I'm like, that makes me feel bad because it's like you're always watching other women do things to the men to where it's like,
So what do you get it? You think that's his way of trying to tell you something?
They want me to watch it with them sometimes, but I be like, not all the time. I would maybe watch it once or twice. Other than that, because I don't get into it. I've never have, and that's something I've just never done. So
I don't think porn is necessarily about sex. So
what is it about then?
Well, it's not all you see.
What do you see, Bree?
Well, there are
sexual acts.
There's sexual acts there, but there are actually movies that. They're movies. They're real movies.
Okay, but they're two different. We're talking about two different things.
But no, they have hardcore porn that actually has storylines. Yeah, they have plots. And
some of them do.
They have some that's just straight in. But when I watched them with the guy, it really just comes with conversation because we're not actually. It's more like it's on. You're talking. You're learning your person. And you really are learning your person because you can find out you did that with what? Really?
But when you watch porn, don't they want you to do similar to what she's doing to him?
No.
Well,
that's what
I tell you. Okay, so that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point because, and this is just from the 2-panel discussion. We didn't go that much into it in the second panel, but we went deep into it in the first panel. Okay, so. Sometimes, if a guy watches porn with you or wants you to watch it with him, he's probably trying to tell you something. He's probably trying to show you the things that he like for you to do. And he doesn't know how to come out and tell you, Angie, I want you to do more things. I want you to experiment more. So he's showing you. And what you should be doing, in my opinion, is watching his reaction. Mm-hmm. So if he gets real excited over certain things, then he gets excited over those things. But he's watching her do it, and maybe that may be his way of communicating. But if you don't know, just ask him. Like, okay, so are you watching this like I watch TV, like I watch a Tyler Perry movie? Are you watching this because you're trying to communicate to me? Let him tell you. He may be like, I just watch it, and I like you just the way you are. But if you're not openly having a conversation with him about sex, and you turn on a porn and say, baby, come watch this with me, he has to make a point. There's a point that's trying to be communicated. He doesn't know how to.
The thing, I guess, is knowing why he wants to watch porn. And not, we know porn is sex. Because I never really thought about that till you just said what you said. It's like, why would you want me to watch porn with you? What are you expecting? What's going on in your head? Because with me, personally, I'm not into that. I don't care. I don't really care for seeing other people have sex. And if you want to watch this, I'll watch it with you. But I don't get nothing out of that. That don't do nothing for me.
Right. But it is not about you.
But yeah,
It's
so
about-
it's
it's two
like,
people in
what's
a
going
relationship.
on in, yeah, what are you thinking? Why do you want to watch?
It's not necessarily a wrong.
What
I mean, because
I mean, it's
unapologetically,
I'm saying nothing wrong with
unapologetically,
it.
I enjoy watching porn. I mean, and I do, and it's not for like, oh, I want to see this in real life. I probably have already seen it in real life. I'm just watching it because it's like watching.
like a TV.
Entertainment.
Yeah, it's a TV show. It's entertainment. And you know, they have names for it. I mean, voyeuristic. But I don't want to see real life people do it.
Yeah,
But there again, I also will go to trapeze without being like, oh my God, that's like, it's like, okay.
So the key
Yeah,
is
not
though,
to figure out
you
like
got
something.
to have these conversations.
That's what it all boils down to. Everything that you talked about all boils down to communication. Talking to the
And
person.
getting the real person.
Right.
Because a problem with communication is, especially in the beginning, it's not the person that you're talking to, it's the representative that you're talking to. The person that they think that you want to see. And so you have to continue to have the conversation for consistency factor. Because people will tell you what they are thinking you want, because they want to know, are you going to judge me on this? Is this really a conversation we can have? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I think there are a lot of
I
people
think that's
who
what guys say about us though. I don't think they don't put on the facade. They think we do. Like if a guy came to me at the beginning of a relationship and say, you know, suppose I wanted you to do this, or suppose I want to do that. They think that I would say yes because I like him. But then later on, I don't do those things. He'd be like, well, you told me that. Or vice versa. A guy would say, oh, if I ask a guy, well, look, are you going to want us to have anal sex and stuff like that? Because, I may not be into that or whatever. Then they may be like, oh, babe, no, that's cool. You don't require. But then it's a lie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's representative. They tell you, oh, no, we're not going to do that. And then, boy, what are you doing?
Like, did we talk about that?
We had this conversation, and I told you, well, let's just try it. Well, you're right. Let's just try it. Flip over. Let's go. You want to do it?
Let me grab this.
Like we
Let me let you know how to do
Do you first.
do unto others as you would have them do you. And baby, if we gonna do this, I will do anything you willing to do. If you not willing to do
But
it,
she's
don't have to.
absolutely right, the representative, because in the beginning, everybody tries to play the little role on both sides.
Yeah, you would have
So we
man.
just need to be honest. I mean, most people don't just go home and watch porn, it's usually with their mate.
Right.
Yeah.
The guy said, they said this on the panel, Derek says, truth be told, sometimes the best sex for a man is by his damn self.
I was like,
And then the other guy said, yeah, we be watching and be like, oh, she gone, okay. So they go in there and they turn it on.
Well, you know what men need to understand, I mean, not to just put it out there, but I'm gonna put it out there. Sometimes we have to wait for you to leave so we can
do
finish,
that.
because y'all
Right.
just the punch, because y'all be like, I did that. And then you call your
done.
girl.
Okay, but there you go. Okay, so let's go
You
there.
done, but I wasn't quite finished, and I still got
Yeah.
some more.
And then,
Hold on. Y'all, we gonna make Malcolm feel real uncomfortable in the next few minutes. Okay, so let's go there. Okay, so let's talk about it. So what you two ladies, Tammy, you and Bree said is, because we were all talking over each other, so I want to make sure everybody heard it. So what I heard you all say was, just like the guys say sometimes the best sex is by their damn selves, you two of you all said that sometimes we wait for y'all to get up and go to the bathroom and leave so we can finish up because y'all ain't finished us up yet.
y'all ain't
Right.
Yeah.
that
So
that shoulder massager that you saw,
that ain't no shoulder massage.
It's a massager. Not with a shoulder.
when you left and went to the bathroom to do your thing, and I went to the shower to do my thing, and that thing was,
Yeah.
you heard this thing that sounded like a shaver? That was not shaving.
Finishing the job.
So why don't you tell him that? Why didn't you tell him?
Probably did tell him.
You probably did or probably did.
Probably did tell him.
Okay, so
And
how do we
and he
communicate?
tapped that.
Okay, so how do you communicate? I mean, this is serious, and we joking and having a good time, but a lot of men think that they are great in the bed, and a lot of women disagree. Can we agree?
Yes.
A lot of men think, like you said, that sex is just like, you know, a rather just one single rhythm or whatever.
Yeah, they're just jumping up and down.
Can we? How many of you all have had struggling relationships with a man not understanding where the G spot was? How many of y'all had that?
Don't even know that that's a real place.
Yeah, don't know that.
They don't even know what it is. Have y'all been in relationships? Right, right. Have y'all been in? I mean, honestly, have y'all been in relationships where men did not understand that there's a target? They didn't know that.
Yes.
Yes. I mean,
and
yes.
had to as you say, roadmap it. No, sweetie, let me take your hand,
Right.
and I'm gonna show you. And they be like, oh Lord, no, listen to me, because this is my body. I know exactly what I want you to do. And if
So how many women are comfortable doing that though?
I mean, I'm comfortable with my own skin, so
I mean, what's about the rest of you all? Are you all comfortable telling a man, sweetheart, I love you and I want this to be great with us, but that didn't do it for me. Let me show you what does it for me.
well, that's not the conversation.
I mean, so we know you. Hold on, we gonna put you over there.
No, I'm just saying, I don't think it needs to be a conversation at the dinner table. It needs to be in the moment.
Well, no, but no. It could be after the moment.
Well, it's called
or in the moment.
an after action review. And no, like seriously, it's called an after action review. And when you're laying there and you're saying, "Boy, that was good," however, comma,
it would have been better.
you know, next time I want you to try this or
That's
that.
good.
Because if you tell him he sucked, you probably ain't gonna
It's an
see him no
ego,
more.
right? It's an ego.
Like I'm putting you on the blood pressure medicine when I do that. Like
How do we?
Well, like I said earlier, communication.
Right.
No,
But I
How
agree
do
with her. I think it has to be right then and there.
Yeah, like you
can't
take
wait till
his
you
hand.
drive- You going on a trip? No.
Yeah, you
That's
have.
right then.
I mean, I believe you take his hand and you put his hand
Right.
without saying the words, because I mean they gonna tell you.
Exactly.
They gonna have a full-fledged conversation with you, and you're like, "Well, I don't hear you. Like, I don't hear you. I don't know what you're saying to me right now because I'm somewhere else mentally." But if you just literally take his hand or take his head or take his whatever it is that you're trying to move and put it there, he'll get it.
Right.
And you communicate it
Like that.
being very direct. And you're gonna be hard pressed to find a guy who really ain't hearing you when you just.
Right here to tell
I
you right
agree.
then.
Yeah, I agree. You know, hindsight, I agree. Because if you talk to him later, and if he left it at thinking that he was the bomb, and then you tell him later,
Not so
next time, then it may emasculate him to the point that he don't want it next time.
And that's when you put in that porn. Click, let me show you.
Right.
Ooh, look
Or
at
if
that.
there is a next time, he gonna be so.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
gun
worse.
shy.
Yeah, it's gonna be worse.
He's a little gun shy. He's like,
Yeah.
dog, now it's all in his head. Because men, and they said that on the previous panel, men place a lot of emphasis on sexual performance. Because they were trained or mistrained from younger that they have to sexually perform in order to keep a woman happy. And so it's a lot going on in their head about, was I good? Was I, size is an issue in their head. A lot of that stuff is
Size
an
is not an
issue
issue.
in their head. And so there's a lot of pressure. So we don't want to deflate that. We don't want to cause them to think that they didn't do a good job. But I agree. So do you think that a lot of the intimacy relationships between men and women will be improved if women communicate to men during sex or whatever that you're not doing it? I mean, guide them into what they should be doing. We agree?
We agree.
Okay, so now let's flip it. So if that improves our sexual relationship, suppose he does the same to you. Like suppose some women are not really into oral sex. They don't want to go down on a man. But if a man moves her head to his genital region, isn't that the same thing?
No.
Why is it not the same thing?
Because you ain't moving my head
So it's a different. Okay, so y'all have hang-ups if he does to you the same thing you just said we're gonna do to him.
For me, if a guy moves my head there, it bothers me. Don't relocate me. Like,
So if you relocated him, but he can't relocate you.
yeah, because I'm gonna easily relocate him. It's not gonna be, you know.
I'm not saying
but
that.
that's how they do. They're like, oh wait,
Okay, so it makes a difference how he does it.
tapping me on my foot. What you doing? Yes, it does. Like it because
gentle
women are
thing.
gentle. Women are, easy. We're gonna get you there. Boys are just like, here. What is that, a microphone? Would you like me to sing? No.
Okay, so then it is, so for guys out there who are struggling, they want their girlfriends or whatever to do it, they don't know how to ask. So we saying do it gently. Who want to tell me what
roadmap.
description of a gentle head down?
Why did the guys say they don't know how to ask for that? Did they say?
Yeah, well, not on this panel, but and you read it. So guys, if a woman is going to perform orally on a man, typically she does it. She'll do it on her own.
Mm-hmm.
So if she never does it, then he presumes that she doesn't want to, or that's not her thing. But if he wants it, how does he communicate it to her he wants
Ask
it?
for what you
Ask-
want.
yeah,
You're a
same
grown man.
conversation,
You're grown enough to be
communication.
having sex. You should be grown enough to ask for what you want.
And that's a conversation that needs to be had. But
And
the
believe
girl
it.
to tell you, I apologize, I don't sing on mics. And and they are very, very forthright with it. They will, under no circumstance, that I don't eat meat. I'm vegan. At that time, they will just tell you. So you have to have that conversation, especially if you're asking someone to put their mouth on certain things. I mean, bruh, we need to talk about this because, everybody ain't good that way.
So the moral of the story is
Talk.
that
Communication.
that's all we got every subject we've talked about, we always come back to the same thing.
Communication.
Open, honest communication. Even if it's a taboo conversation, even if it's a hard conversation.
Yep.
You know what I learned though? I didn't learn that. I shouldn't say that. There's actually a game. There's a card game that was made by a black male, and there are questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I played the game.
Yep.
And boy, the things you learn that you would never think. Let me just ask this because I
What
don't even
is
know
the
how to
card
answer
game?
this. It's black. It's got M&M on the back of it. I don't remember the.
There's a lot of card games out there.
Yeah, but
you
this-
got one on your
I've got
website, don't you?
Not that kind.
They
The kind. It's like a date night.
This game can be played amongst people or just one-on-one, and I played it one-on-one. And one of the questions was, so you go in a person's bathroom and you open their medicine cabinet and you see medicine for herpes. What's your next move? And
Yep. There's a lot of games out there like that.
Yeah.
They've been out there.
Yeah.
The old school version is Truth or Dare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody played Truth or Dare, back in the day. But that was the whole purpose of Truth or Dare, was for you to ask those questions that you were uncomfortable asking, even though it was a lot of times played in groups. But you can play Truth or Dare with your mate at the
spin the
house.
bottle.
So if you're struggling to have that conversation,
21
like they say,
questions.
there's an app for it. There's an app. I'll show it to you when I get done. But there's an app that I have, an intimacy app that I have on my phone. But there's an app for everything. There's a game for everything. There's a game right now there's another, my goddaughter, she does what you do, Tammy. And it's running on my Facebook right now, but it's like tic-tac-toe, and I think you do a dice, and when you lay, you gotta do what's on there.
Oh, I can
And
do
there's
that.
some wild stuff, there's pictures, stick figure pictures on there, and I'm like, oh, okay.
But it gives you, doing that is going to give you the ability to be like,
Communicate.
let me get out my shell and have a conversation that I was terrified to have.
And that's what it is. I think too, some people be in a shell and they don't know, they're kind of scared to like explore and do certain
Because
things.
we're afraid of
They
being judged.
Yeah, I think
We're
that's
all
what it
afraid of
is.
being judged.
Well, when it comes to couples and relationships, there's nothing wrong, whether you're freaky or not freaky, whether you do certain things or not others, that's who you are. So if you have that conversation and the man say, I want you to do this, 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 and you ain't into this, just don't date him.
Right.
That's simple. You ain't fell in love with him, y'all ain't had sex, just keep it moving.
And that's the point
That's the
of
point.
the conversation.
And that's why
Yeah.
dating is so important.
That's why it's so important that you date and get to know each other before you have sex with them,
Yeah.
before you
Have
fall in
kids.
love with him. Cause then that love thing, you be like, I love him so much, I may be willing to do it.
And then you end up doing stuff you don't
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah, and
You
compromise
rape yourself. You essentially are allowing someone to rape you because it's something you did not want to do, and you're only doing it
But
because
you're
you're
trying to
afraid
fill
to
his
lose.
needs.
Yeah, you're afraid to lose him or her. You know.
Okay, so now that leads into this last topic, which is infidelity, cheating, side chicks, all this stuff. So, y'all ain't had the conversation. Y'all didn't talk about it. Now you're in a relationship, been in a relationship 2-3 years. Things may be okay with you, but not with him. Or things may be okay with him, but not with you. But your needs are being met. And when I talk about this, I'm not talking about sex. So we've talked about your need for support, to have a cheerleader, all of that. We've talked about a lot of different needs. But you're not getting enough of those needs met in this relationship. What do? Do you cheat? What would lead a woman to step outside her relationship and go be with another guy before she ends this relationship?
Men cheat because they do. Women cheat because they're missing something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
But the men said, see, and that's one of those Mars Venus things. Men, because sex is a bowel movement, they may go get a physical need met, but when they go over there ain't no attachment to that.
Right.
At all.
That's what.
But to us, when we find out, oh, we got issues. So if you know that he went over there and pooped, why do we care? Why we get all bent out of shape?
Because he didn't talk
Because
about
it's
it.
an intimate act.
Well,
Right.
no. My
Being
issue
intimate with
is
somebody else besides you.
that's
Wait,
not my
wait,
problem.
wait,
My
wait,
problem
wait,
is
wait.
they didn't talk about it. And I tell
Before they did it?
well, I have a rule in dating. I do not care if I only have Tuesdays and Thursdays. I care that you fail to tell me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday you over there.
Right.
If you tell me in advance.
I need to make my decision. on
And
what I want.
I was in a very open relationship, and it was understood because I said, you know what? If you talk to me and you tell me, then you've given me a choice.
A choice. That's what it is.
You fail to give me a choice. Crazy because historically, men have been allowed to have 50, 11 women, as many as you can afford. The problem is y'all stop being able to afford more than one.
Yeah.
So, and we've always been told you got to save yourself until you get that one.
That one.
And then you get to that one and he don't know how to read road maps. And you're like,
Well, I think, okay, so I'm going to close it because I said that we weren't going to talk as long as the guys, but looking at my clock, we have talked exactly as long as the guys. So, and it has been a great conversation.
Yes, it has.
But so, if I'm going to sum it up, and I think everybody's got the point. The point is basically for the guys to get the point. For the guys to know. One, I think any guy who listens to this will now have a better understanding. If they didn't know men are from Mars and women from Venus, they know now. But also, you all know from the panel and from here that they're Martians. So stop bringing your Venetians, Venus, whatever. Stop bringing Venus over to Mars and expecting them to respond the way we respond. So when a man does something, just say, he a Martian.
when in Rome.
Let me figure out what the Martians do. Let me figure out what the Martians do. The only way you're going to figure out what the Martians do is go talk to your Martian and be like, babe, why you do that?
Communication.
Why you do it?
Don't act like a Martian.
Right.
Because then they're going to get
They
offended.
don't want you to act
Don't
like
act like them.
They don't want you to be masculine and take on the masculine role, because then we're going to be crapping everywhere else. But they just go and ask the Martian, why'd you do it? And then try to get him to come ask us, well, babe, why'd you do that? Babe, why you walking around with your face all turned up and ain't saying nothing? Babe, but open the communication, because at the end of the day, if these relationships are to be improved and saved, we all agree, we got to do it. We got to do it. So the only way we got to do it, we got to learn it. So, Thank you, ladies. You all have been
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you for opening up and talking about some taboo subjects. Thank you for participating with me on this journey to improve the communication gap between men and women. And so, one final word. We're going to have those discussions at home when we go home with our mates, right? Right?
Yeah.
That's right. I don't have a mate, so I'm having a discussion with y'all and the men on the camera. All right. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, so how was it, ladies?
Great.
Y'all did wonderful. Y'all forgot the cameras was there. I told y'all was gonna
Y'all
forget.
say don't